At the beginning of August, a summit between Putin and President Trump took place in Alaska. This was the direct result of Trump's threats, including a shortened deadline, about new sanctions, which we reported on last month. In Alaska itself, Putin was courted on the red carpet, and thus brought back into the limelight. Good points for Russian propaganda. Putin also emerged as the clear winner of the summit. He spoke first in the subsequent press conference and flew off after just a few hours. A joint personal meeting with Trump was only brief. Putin did not have to make any concessions, but he managed to calm Trump down and, as many say, bring upon his own line. The plan seems to be working, at least to the extent that Trump, who had spoken to the European heads of government before the summit, refrained from further actions for the time being. Instead, a trilateral meeting with the Ukrainian president was promised, but this just as quickly turned out to be a pipe dream. There is currently no real interest in peace from the Russian side. That's why the bombing in Ukraine continued, but the country subsequently struck back effectively and also attacked targets far in the hinterland. This led to damaged gas pipelines, for example to Hungary, much to the annoyance of the government there. And Trump? For the time being, he does not comment further on the topics, but instead sends soldiers to Washington to clean up the crime there. According to statistics, however, this has decreased, which is why many see this as a diversionary tactic.
For some time now, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has been making a name for himself on social media. Trump's interference with people's freedoms, as well as some disputes with Newsom himself, led to a wide-ranging media campaign initiated by the governor. Not only does he call on Americans to defend themselves, but he also counters Trump on other points, such as setting up his own shop with products based on MAGA. In fact, his strategy seems to be working, because Newsom manages to make noise and attract attention. Even Trump reacts to Newsom's posts from time to time. The success seems to prove the governor right, as it is rumored by many behind closed doors that Newsom is positioning himself as the new presidential candidate for the elections in 4 years. Whether this is true or not, one thing is certain: Newsom stands up to Trump and is a pioneer in this respect.
It has been 3 years since the attack on the Lake Ontario Bridge in Toronto, and now the investigation has come to an end. Although the perpetrators could not be arrested, but since the bridge has now been rebuilt, they finally wanted to draw a line, according to official city circles. In 2022, the bridge was the victim of an attack that tore a huge hole in it. Obviously, a bomb had been placed in a van, which was the cause of the explosion, at least that much the investigators were able to find out. The real target of the terrorists, however, seemed to be the cold fusion reactor at the Nunyan Singh Institute, not far away. Because 1 day later, an attack, or more precisely, an intrusion, was reported there. Here the security personnel were on the spot in time to prevent further action, even if there were 2 deaths, which brought the authorities to the scene. In fact, the body of a man, very likely one of the perpetrators, was found. His picture is not shown for reasons of piety. Furthermore, slight burn marks with organic residues were discovered on the floor. Although one can only speculate, it seems that the intruders, at most 2 or 3 men, quarreled and killed each other. Even though only 1 body was found, the burn marks indicate that more must have happened here. The other perpetrator seems to have escaped, but seriously injured. He may have succumbed to his injuries later. Since the incident was more than 3 years ago, there is no indication that these terrorists will strike again. Although the authorities will keep their eyes open and parts of this case will become a cold case, there is no longer an immediate danger. Incidentally, only a few doors had been broken open in the institute itself. The reactor is safe and nothing else is missing, it was announced. However, this cannot be proven.